opening statement from Coach Crean, and then next 15 minutes set aside for student-athlete questions, and then we will release the student-athletes and finish up with Coach. Coach, congratulations. A very impressive victory tonight.
My opening? Yeah. Okay. Well, we are extremely excited to be moving on. And I thought our guys have done a tremendous job focusing all week on the task at hand, which was a very good Chattanooga team. They were exactly what we thought that they would be. They were aggressive. They could shoot it. They could play inside out. They had good pressure, and our guys played with tremendous urgency. We weren't always as effective in the first half as we needed to be with our ball screen coverages and a couple of our passes, but we settled in, and I don't really have the stat sheet memorized yet. Just taking a look at it now for the first time, I thought our guys did a fantastic job in the second half, especially on the three-point line. We did a great job on the three-point line all game, and that's big for us. But we handled the pressure, and these gentlemen right here to my left did a fantastic job, along with their teammates in the locker room. It was a great team victory because it was played offensively, defensively, and in situation basketball, and that's exactly what you've got to have. And we're, anxiously looking forward to seeing who we're going to play on Saturday.
This time,
is there a time yet for that game? Is there a time yet been determined?
No.
Okay.
At this time, we take questions for student athletes. Please raise your hand and please identify yourself as well as your media outlet. Thank you. Questions? In the back.
Jeff Greer from the Louisville Courier-Journal. Robert, for you to come back and play after missing a few games, how did it feel to get back out there and be effective tonight?
Felt good just being back out there and being able to help these guys win.
Up front, question?
Indiana Deli student. And Rob, could you kind of put a level on how much pain you were in that first game back out there? Kind of times when you're jogging around, it seemed like you might have had a limp. I mean, could you kind of put a level on how it felt today?
I felt pretty good the whole day. The pain didn't feel any different than it usually does, especially this last couple of days as I've been practicing. So I'm encouraged with how I felt.
Other questions? Todd, over here on the aisle.
Todd Golden with the Terre Haute Tribune-Star. OG, can you talk about the energy with which you were able to break Chattanooga's defensive plan, their press, and as well as their half-court defense, and how you kind of embodied that with your pretty dramatic style of play today?
And trusted my teammates. We all just try to make the right plays.
We'll go here, then we go over the aisle.
OG, it's your first NCAA tournament game. I mean, how'd it feel to put on such a big stage, have so many big highlight plays and whatnot?
It was a cool experience. My teammates always talk about it, and it was nice to finally go out there.
On the aisle.
Greg Logan of Newsday for Yogi. Over here. Can you just give me some idea of how you felt this offensive performance, and especially the high shooting percentage, prepared you guys for the next step, which of course everybody anticipates will likely be Kentucky, and how excited would you be if that's the matchup you got?
Well, there's still, a game to be played. It's March, so I feel like anything could happen. And if we were to get them, it'd be a great matchup. Two high-level powered offensive teams. So we'll just see what happens.
Question here, and then we'll go in the back.
Yogi, I mean, what does it do for you guys when you see OG, have one of those, 360 dunk in the first half or any of those plays that you always see? What does it do for the team when you see those plays?
Yeah, well, it definitely brings the level of intensity up, I feel like. You know, when we see OG go down and do a dunk like that, you know, we want to get another stop just to see the dunk again. You know, we see it in practice all the time, so we're not too shocked to see it. But, you know, when OG's doing that, you know, that's just a sign of us going out there and having fun, playing together, playing as a unit. And when we can do that, we can play very well.
Go in the back, you're in the blue shirt.
Reed Forgrave with Fox Sports. Yogi, I'm curious, this season seemed headed in the wrong direction back in December, and now you guys have a shot at making the Sweet 16. What is it that Coach did in that time, specifically back in December, to turn this thing around?
Well, Coach just kept getting on us, and he saw the potential that we had as a team. You know, early on, we weren't playing very well in Maui and at Duke, but he still saw the potential, and he stayed with us. And, you know, we were very fortunate for him to do that for us. And, you know, by him getting on us, you know, it made the older guys like me, Nick, Max, guys who have played on the team, you know, get on our teammates because we saw the potential in ourselves too.
Go in the very back aisle there, he was up, and then we're coming right over here.
Larry Kotler, ESPN Radio here in Des Moines. Question for, could be all three, whoever wants to answer it. Just the loss to Michigan, obviously you didn't want to suffer a setback in the Big Ten tournament, but did that provide a little bit of more extra motivation for a game like today's?
Would you take that, Yogi?
Well, I wouldn't say motivation. You know, I'd say the film that we watched when we played Michigan was not the way we played the entire year. The way we played against Michigan wasn't the way we played to win the Big Ten championship. So we watched that film and just saw how slow we were, not aggressive on defense. And we just wanted to come out here and fix it, and I felt like we did that.
Okay, go right here on the aisle.
Dave, Sarah, ESPN, for Yogi. I was wondering if you saw your sisters behind the bench in the shirts, and they were interviewing them, and if it was a distraction at all, and just what their support has meant to you.
I only heard about the shirts my sisters were wearing, saying I'm an annoying brother. I'll have to talk to them about that. But, you know, they've supported me my entire career at basketball, and they come to basically every away game, and I'm grateful for such a great family that supports me like that, and to see them over the sideline, you know, just makes me happy.
In the back here, we have less than 5 minutes for the student athletes.
For all three of you guys, do you watch any of the other 5-12 games that are going on today and see Yale beat Baylor and you see Little Rock win? I mean, did that pop into your minds? Are you following that at all today? Or?
We started with OG and then Yogi.
Like, we saw it, but we didn't let it, like, what did you say? Yeah, we watched the games, but we just...
The Little Rock Purdue game?
No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
We watched the Yale-Baylor game, but we just tried to come out and play our game. We didn't worry about that.
Yogi?
Like I said before, man, it's March, and the best teams play in the NCAA tournament. That's why they were selected for a reason, so anybody can beat anybody on any given night.
Robert, anything to add?
No. Same.
Okay, again, if you can help us out, especially our transcribers, please identify yourself along with your media outlet when you do ask a question. Any other questions here? Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Take questions for Coach now.
Team-wise stuff? Yeah.
Questions for Coach. Todd? Okay, that's fine. In the back, Coach on the far left.
Hey.
Please identify yourself.
Kevin Highland, WIUX. Coach, it really seems like OG's on a stretch right now defensively where he's just playing sensationally, really kind of what Victor was doing in 2013. Have you ever seen this kind of transformation in one season and improvement on one end of the ball like OG has had defensively this year?
Well, first off, you're comparing him to a guy that ended up being the second pick in the draft in his junior year of basketball. I wouldn't go that far. And, I mean, they've got some characteristics, certainly with their length and their tenacity. But OG's a freshman, and he's grown up a lot because he's learned in December really how to sustain intensity. And he's a great person, and he's very smart, so that helps so much of it. But he learned how to sustain intensity. He pays attention in film. He gets better in practice. And he's been on a good move really the entire Big Ten and now into March time. But you kind of lost me on that Victor comparison. I mean, we're not quite ready for that. I mean, I know it's March and there's some wild things out there, but that one's a little strong. And OG has got a lot of potential, and if he continues because of that size, length, his ability to move his feet, he's going to be an outstanding player in his own right. And what's also helped is his offense has gotten significantly better, and I think so much of that comes because of his defense.
Go Todd here in the aisle up front.
Todd Golden with the Terre Tribune-Star. Tom, I don't know if you have a statistical goal for press break, but 23 assists on 37 field goals is pretty tangible evidence of how effective the offense was. Can you address, not only breaking the press at the early part of the press, but also the back end of the press, which was obviously very effective today?
Well, we don't have a statistical goal because we don't want to break it. We want to attack it, and I think that's the connotation that you want to get across to your team. And we were prepared for the press. We were prepared. We have a lot of respect for them. I mean, and that's why we spent all of our time getting ready for them. I mean, because that's what it all comes down to. And so we were very concerned about the press that turned back into the zone because of the length at the zone. So we wanted to do a great job of attacking. We've got a couple different ways. We made some adjustments in the game, but it's very, very important for us to not have – we never want to have more offensive players up than they have defensive players, right? Because that just balances into the defense. It seems like it doesn't, but numerically it works in the defense's favor. And we want to get behind it as much, and we want to get into a downhill game. And some of it's going to be off the pass, some of it's going to be off the dribble or drive, some's going to be off the ball screen. But the more that we can get two people deep behind the press, it's the better for us. And that's where a lot of the assists come from, and we want to attack inside out or inside down. And so it's really not about numerical goals. I didn't realize we shot that till I sat up here. And I thought we had about 20 turnovers at half, and I was shocked to see that we only had 6, right? Because we just weren't quite where we needed to be in the first half, ball screen coverage-wise and passing-wise. But we were better than I thought. In the second half, we got a lot better, and it's because we stayed on the attack.
Got a question up front here, Coach?
Brody Miller, Indiana Daily student. Now looking back at the 4 games you didn't have Rob, and now he's back. I mean, what is the difference with your team when you have him and you don't?
Well, I haven't really thought much like that because our team kept getting better while he was out. But, I mean, he's a starting guard, high-level guard in the Big Ten and in the country, and he had a fantastic year. And we missed him a lot, but I think it just showed the urgency that everybody else played with. And I mean, they had to learn how to play without one of the premier guards in the country at the beginning of the Big Ten season with James Blackman. So when you've got guys that continue to play quality minutes, quality time, can play numerous positions like Jawan and OG can, that's very helpful. But we missed him, and I think we were able to win when he wasn't there, but we certainly enjoyed having him back there today, and he's not 100% back, but he was back enough to be a real contributor today, and it was great to have him.
In the far back, go ahead.
Bill Ryder, CBS Sports Coach, right here in the center. If Kentucky wins tonight, given that rivalry, the history, the last 4 years, the fact that those teams haven't played, your 2 teams have not played, how does that change your preparation and how you go about getting the guys ready for what's going to be a very intense game?
Well, I'm sorry that because they haven't played that game yet, so I'd be remiss if I started talking about the potential opponent. I'm sorry. But our preparation won't change on whoever the opponent is. So we'll lock into it tonight, and we'll lock into it tomorrow, and we'll get ready to play on Saturday.
Just a quick follow. Whether it's on Saturday or 3 years from now, could you just speak to that rivalry and what it will be like whenever that time comes?
Well, I think it's a great rivalry, and I think it's there's been a lot of great history with Indiana and Kentucky over the years, and we've been privileged to be a part of it. And there's been a lot of tremendous games. I mean, obviously it's a rivalry because of the history of it, because of the proximity of the 2 states, but because the 2 basketball teams have been good when it's been at its best. So I would say that's the biggest thing.
Other questions? Still have less than 5 minutes up front here.
Just, is there any chance that you're willing to kind of speak about what you and Yogi were just talking about as he was walking off?
Probably not, no. Thank you, though.
Question right up front here, Coach.
The crispness of your offense today, the way you guys moved the ball, shot almost 65%, hit all the threes.
We really moved the ball well. It was exciting. I mean, it really did. We played well. We played sharp. We got better as the game went on, and we created a lot from our defense, which we didn't. We were in a trade basket mode for a little bit in the first half, and we got better with that in the second.
Any final questions? Congratulations again, Coach.
Thank
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Thank you.